Supervisors, regular session meeting on March 16th, 2021 at 9:05. This is a notice to the public. The Board of Supervisors welcomes comment from the public during time allowed for discussion. You are requested to approach the microphone, state your name for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given an opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chairperson to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and/or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate and a roll call vote will follow. The board will meet in regular session on Tuesday, March 16th, 2021 at 9:05 a.m. in the Grand Courtroom and via online Zoom with 3 members present. Roll call, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosik,
Yes.
Okay. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 1 on our agenda this morning is approval or amendment of the agenda. Entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Mr. Chairman, I would second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as printed. Any discussion?
One item, it's one of our last numbers here, and I just wanted to see if you did want to amend. It's number 23. We've noted the policy for door access as being a building and grounds. It's really a Marshall County policy if we want to strike building and grounds out of there. And I apologize, I didn't notice that when the agenda came out.
So your intention is for this to be county-wide?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's not a building and grounds policy, it's a county.
Okay.
So if we could strike building and grounds there.
Please let the record reflect that we are striking the words buildings and grounds from item number 23 so that this is just listed as a policy update for Marshall County.
So in that respect, we would probably need to amend the
Okay.
agenda.
Would somebody like
change
to
my
redo
motion.
their motions, please?
I would make a motion to amend the agenda as printed and make the changes that we've just discussed.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend. Now procedurally, because we had the first motion, do we need to vote that down and then come back and do this amendment
I don't
and
think
vote
so.
it up?
No, if we, parliamentarily, if we pass the amendment.
It cancels
and then-
the first?
No, it doesn't. But it does cancel the first, but then we have to re-vote on the first.
Okay,
And then we'll vote on the motion as amended.
well,
Second time.
then is there any discussion on the motion as amended? There being none, let's vote on the motion as amended.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes?
Slosik,
Yes.
Okay, and now you're recommending that we come back and vote the first motion.
Well, actually, the next, there's two, and if everyone's happy with this,
I think
We can go.
that's okay.
I'll
Yeah,
go whatever
we can
way
just
you
go.
want to go.
I think that's.
We're good.
Sherry's
All right.
nodding, I'm happy.
All right. Item number 2 on our agenda this morning is a public hearing on the 2021. That is a mistake.
2020,
2020-2021 budget amendment. At the public hearing, any resident may place objections or arguments in favor or any part of the amendment to the current 2020-2021 county budget. Have we received any written comments or questions or objections?
I've received none.
Okay. Are there any members of the public that are here that would like to express any written or any oral objections?
13
13 on Zoom, 14, 15. 16, 17, 18, 19,
20.
20. Okay. Okay. Of the 20 individuals attending the public hearing, do we have anybody that wants to present any oral comments or objections? Let the record reflect there were 0. I'll entertain motions to close the public hearing at 9:10 a.m.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to close the public hearings at 9 a.m.
9:10.
or 9:10. 9:10 a.m. There we go.
Do I have a second?
As so, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing at 9:10 a.m. Any discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosson.
Yes.
Okay. Item 3 on our agenda this morning is resolution number 2021-0017, the 2020-2021 budget amendment. Notice of the budget amendment was published in the Marshalltown Times Republican and the State Center Mid-Iowa Enterprise on March 4th. Have we received any written comments, questions, or objections on file with the auditor and the recorder's office?
Restating what has already gone on.
Yeah, so
You're
0.
just restating it for the resolution.
Yeah, so it's 0. And then of the 20 individuals, there was nothing.
Okay. Then I'll entertain motions to approve or adopt this resolution.
I would make a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-0017, fiscal year 2020-2021 budget amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2021-0017, fiscal year 2020-2021 budget amendment. Discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 4 on our agenda this morning is a public hearing, 2020-2021, decrease in appropriations. At the public hearing, any resident may present objections to or arguments in favor of any part of the decrease in appropriations in the current 2020-2021 county budget. Were there any written comments or objections on file with the county auditor recorder's office?
None.
Okay. Do any of the 20 individuals attending the public hearing want to make oral comments, questions, or objections?
We increased to 13.
We were at 13.
Did we pick one up?
I thought we did, but I could be wrong.
I think we had 13.
13, 15, 16,
Maybe somebody dropped
18,
out.
19. We lost one. Lucas.
So now we're at 19.
Okay, he left the room.
Yes,
We'll have to take him off.
so 19.
Okay. Of the 19 individuals attending the public hearing, does anybody want to present oral comments, questions, or objections? Let the record reflect that there were 0. I will entertain motions to close the public hearing at 9:14 a.m.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to close the public hearing at 9:14 a.m.
And I would second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosson.
Yes.
Okay. Item 5 on our agenda is resolution 2021-0018, budget decrease in appropriations for fiscal year 2020-2021. Seeing as how this is housekeeping again, do we need to go through and read this? Nope. Okay. Were there any written comments or questions, objections on file in the county
That's the
auditors?
same, so it's
Same
0, 19 individuals,
19.
and 0.
And 0? Okay. I'll entertain motions on the adoption of this resolution, please.
I would make a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-0018, budget decrease in appropriations 2020-2021.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2021-0018, budget decrease in appropriations for 2020-2021. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosson,
Yes.
Item 6 on our agenda this morning is Resolution 2021-0019, reappropriation of funds for fiscal year 2020-2021. Entertain motions on this resolution, please.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt the resolution 2021-0019, reappropriation of funds for FY 2020-2021.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2021-0019, reappropriation of funds for fiscal year 2020-2021. Discussion?
I've got a question on number 22. Why was there such a change in county conservation? Does anyone know? I didn't
It went up.
research that.
increase for possible land acquisition
Land acquisition.
or moving forward with the Timmins project. I'm not sure.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions or comments?
No.
Well, we got insurance money in here too.
Yes.
And that's why it's 42 million. We're normally not anywhere close to that.
Right, you look at 84 and 87, those are our two capital line items. So if you take those out, it gets back down into the realm of our normal budget.
I just wanted the people that
Yeah.
are listening, understand that's not our normal budget.
Total,
No, our normal budget runs roughly 24 million, and half of that is levied against the property taxpayer. Approximately the other half comes from intergovernmental fees.
Mhm.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions, comments? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosson,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7 on our agenda this morning is a public hearing 2021-2022 budget. At the public hearing, any resident may present objections to or arguments in favor of any part of the decrease in appropriations for the current 2021-2020 budget, county budget. Were there any written comments, objections, or on file with the county auditor and recorder's office?
0.
None? And Lucas is still gone. Did we add any or lose any online?
13, nope.
13, so
So-
we're back to 19 again? Okay. Of the 19 individuals attending the public hearing, are there any that want to present oral or written comments or objections? I would say that would be a 0. I will entertain motions to close the public hearing at 9:18 a.m.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to close the public hearing at 9:18 a.m.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing at 9:18 a.m. Discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosson,
Yes.
Item 8 on our agenda this morning is Resolution 2021-0020. Adopt the budget and certify the taxes for the fiscal year 2021-2022. The proposed 2021-2022 county budget was published in the Marshalltown Times-Republican and the State Center Mid-Iowa Enterprise on March 4th, 2021. There were 0 written comments or objections on file with the county auditor and recorder.
So we're at our 0 and 19
And we're
that we
right
were
back to
before.
0 and 19.
Just reiterating the above.
Yep. So therefore be it resolved that the county budget for fiscal 2021-2022 be adopted and the county auditor recorder be authorized to certify and file the budget and certificate of taxes as adopted. Entertain motions and a second to adopt this resolution, please.
And what are
Mr.
we
Chairman?
adopting? What rates are we adopting? What's published or the reduction with the mental health? Do you want to make any other changes?
We need the reduction.
I would reduce, personally, my vote would be to reduce what we published minus the reduction in mental health, which was approximately $120,000. It was a reduction of $3 per capita per person, which comes real close to 120,000.
Are you ready for?
A
Now, that's
motion?
just my thought. Your thoughts
I would-
also?
I feel the same.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all three of us are in concurrence that we are going to adopt with the reduction.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's your only reduction is in that. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions, Mary or Maria?
Does that get you the crystal clear language you're looking for?
Gives us a place to go.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, then I would move to adopt resolution 2021-2020, adopt budget and certify taxes for fiscal year 21 to 2022.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2021-2020, adopt budget and certified taxes for fiscal year 2021-2022. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosik,
Yes.
Well, that was the end of a 4-month process.
well, don't we have
We're not
something for
quite
the
done
next
yet.
meeting? Or are we done?
No, this is it.
Is it? Okay, well, that's cool. I thought we had one more. That's exciting.
Yep. On to the consent agenda. Item number 9, approve the minutes from our regular session of March 2nd, 2021, special session of March 10th, 2021. Approve claims as audited and authorize the county auditor recorder to issue payment of the same. Listings of claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid in the month of March will be published as part of the first meeting in April. A manure management plan, receipt, and annual update. Eric Finisher Farm, number 65770, 1144 120th Street, St. Anthony, Iowa, 50239. Add acres. Change of crop rotation or optimal yields using manure analysis. Manure management plan receipt of annual update for Prestige Farms of Iowa, LLC P349, number 67105, 1441 120th Street, Clemens, Iowa, 50239. Use manure analysis. Manure management plan receipt of annual update, Burt Farms and Livestock Company, site number 5, number 62502, 2809 170th Street, Marshalltown, Iowa, 50158. No changes. Manure management plan receipt of annual update, Larson site number 67141, BL Farms, 73890 160th Street, St. Anthony, 50239 8708. Changes include change in crop rotation or optimal yields and use manure analysis. Authorization to use facility ID number 70163, Jared Whitaker site.
That's the end of it.
That is the end of the consent agenda. I'll entertain motions on the consent agenda, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Okay,
And Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as printed. Any discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosik,
Yes.
I might mention though, Dave, there on number 10, when we talk about approved claims, those are all the claims for the whole month, and they are in the paper.
Oh, these are
Every
the,
2 weeks.
Every
these
2
are the
weeks.
claims for today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then in the paper is the whole
The whole
month
month, yeah.
before.
and that's item by item, all the way down on every department. So it takes a while.
Is there anything combined? on it?
It's combined by vendor.
Yeah, there's some.
By vendor,
Mhm.
okay.
So if we pay, because there's some of the things, and I'm just, secondary roads, there's some that they pay a whole lot of invoices all to one vendor that would make the publication
Exactly.
extremely long, so it's a total by vendor.
And if I remember right, today's bill list was about 1.3 million total.
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm really close.
Mhm. I can't find that right at this moment.
James, do you have it?
I'll get up to it here just a second. Maria, I found Maria's email. And 1.320929.65.
I was
Good
close
number.
from memory.
Okay, thank
I've
you.
done too many things in between there.
I just thought that if people heard that once in a while,
That how the process
understanding
works.
is a lot easier.
It is.
The supervisor's job is to look at the total dollars and keep track of that and make sure that's functioning. And this is part of that job, going through and checking these bills. I'm done talking.
Anything else? Okay. Item 16 this morning is to appoint the sheriff vacancy, proceed with the filling of sheriff vacancy by appointment as discussed in our special meeting of March 10th, 2021. Also, applications will be accepted through March 21st, 2021, or until filed. Applications are posted online and available at the Marshall County Auditor Recorder's Office. I'll entertain motions to proceed with the filling of the filling of the sheriff's vacancy by appointment as discussed in the special meeting of March 10th, 2021.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to proceed with filling the sheriff's vacancy by appointment as discussed in the special meeting of March 10th, 2021.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to proceed with the filling of sheriff's vacancy by appointment. Any further discussion?
I would like to point out, we were on the phone, my office was on the phone with the Secretary of State's office yesterday. And with the new election law change, previously we had reported that a petition could be filed following our notice, which our notice was that special meeting when that was published in the paper. That day was our notice of it. They've now changed it so it's only after the appointment occurs. Patrons have 14 days from the date of appointment to file the petition with our office. So it isn't the 2 timeframes, which I've always thought was a little odd.
That's the way it was done in the past.
Right. And so with this new election law that we've heard some things about the change to absentee voting, the changes to the mailing back into the ballots, those were the things that made the big news. These were also things that changed. And so we wanted to call the Secretary of State's office and they said, yep, they confirmed it and there was more changes.
They were in the fine print.
They were in the fine print and they're of course still working on getting all of that information together. We've not even gotten communicated as auditors what all those changes are, but when I called, they wanted to let us know that this is a change. They did have to know what date the sheriff's last day was, I told them, and that was after the governor signed. So we go with the new laws for the sheriff's position.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different now on the petitioning if patrons want a special election.
So it'd be 14 days from the day.
14 days from the date of appointment.
That's today.
After the
No,
process
when
is
you
done.
choose somebody. So when you say, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
John Smith is our new sheriff, 14 days from that. So you've got to go through the interview process and all of that.
Okay.
The other thing important to note that also changed is signatures cannot be gathered on the petition until the date that the selection is made.
Okay,
So they've, there's, if individuals want to do that, you've got 14 days to collect 1,828 valid signatures.
all right.
And they can get those petitions, forms from your office.
From our office or from the Secretary of State's office, yes.
Mhm.
But they shouldn't start collecting any signatures prior to the, when the selection is made.
Okay.
So that's different information than we shared previously because old law, new law.
Okay,
Well, thank you for being on top of that. My
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah, when we had, later in the meeting, we've got our second appointment and we thought, okay, it's time to, it just something kind of bugged me.
Okay.
And so you got to listen to those little, but we sure had gotten new information on that before that. So,
all right. Anything else? We have a motion and a second to proceed with the filling of the sheriff's vacancy by appointment.
I'm just tickled we got someone of the caliber that we have to fill the position. So
Absolutely.
we really appreciate Joel.
In the interim, but we still must take
Gathering.
the applications.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say anything different than
yeah,
that.
gathering, and that's through the 21st, which I'm sure people will think that's an odd date since it's a Sunday. But with the electronic age we're in, that got us through our 10-day notice for veteran filing, which is why we need to post everything for 10 days.
Okay,
And
So does that mean we accept anything on Monday then too?
nope, it's through the
No.
21st, but if they send it at 11:59 on the 21st, they email that information to you, that is a valid application.
Okay.
Yeah, we are in the electronic age now.
okay. We have a motion and a second to fill the vacancy by appointment. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes,
Slosson.
Yes.
motion carries. Item 17 on our agenda this morning is to authorize Chief Deputy Sheriff Joel Phillips to assume the responsibilities of sheriff until a sheriff is permanently appointed by the board as discussed in the special meeting of March 10th, 2021. I'll entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to authorize the Chief Deputy Sheriff Joel Phillips to assume the responsibilities of sheriff until a sheriff is permanently appointed by the board as discussed in the special meeting of March 10th of 2021.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to authorize Chief Deputy Sheriff Joel Phillips to assume the responsibilities of sheriff until a sheriff is permanently appointed by the board as discussed in the special meeting of March 10th, 2021. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosson.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 18 this morning is approved personnel actions. This is a change of status and change rate of pay for Ray Melling. Secondary Road Department, change of status from PTM2, which is Patrolman 2, to Truck Driver 3. Change rate of pay from $26.47 an hour to $26.39 an hour, effective 3/22/2021. Paul, do you want to speak to this?
This is Ray Newman requested to be reassigned to the shop, went back to the driving truck for us. And this coupled with the next item is basically a voluntary swap. That Ray found someone to take his seat in the motor.
Okay, good explanation. I'll entertain motions on this personnel action, please.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve this personnel action in item number 18.
And I would second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this personnel action. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosson.
Yes.
Item B, under item 18, is change of status and change rate of pay for Tom Sawyer, Secondary Road Department. change of status from truck driver 3 to patrolman 2, change rate of pay from $26.39 an hour to $26.47 an hour, effective 3/22/21.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve this personnel action.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this personnel action. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes,
Glossary.
Yes.
motion carries. Item C on our agenda under 18 is a new hire for the Auditor Recorder's Clerk, Stephanie Edwards, Auditor Recorder Department, new hire as Elections, Vitals, DNR, and Real Estate Clerk, set rate of pay at $18 an hour, start date 3/22/2021.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve this personnel action.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this personnel action. Any discussion or comments?
Both C and D are clerks that are replacing, one is replacing Blaise Wurr, who became the county assessor, and the other is replacing Cindy Reitzel, who will be retiring July 2nd. You can see, looking at both of these, very similar positions. So for training purposes, having two people start at the same time and be up and running before we have our retirement, and we've been running short with Blaise here being gone for almost 2 months by the time we'll get this filled, so.
Yep. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this personnel action. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Glossary.
Yes.
Item D under item 18 is a new hire, Auditor Recorder Clerk Stephanie Coultier, Auditor Recorder Department, new hire as Elections, Vitals, DNR, Real Estate Clerk, set rate of pay at $18 an hour with a start date of 3/22/2021. I'll entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve this personnel action.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve this personnel action.
I did forget to add earlier, I'm stealing stuff from the attorney's office.
Did you apologize?
I did. I
Profusely?
apologize to Jennifer, yes.
Okay,
Steph Coulter was actually in our office from 1996 through 2001 previously. And then left the county
yes,
and then came back into the attorney's office.
I forgot that.
So she's kind of doing a circle. So looking forward to it.
Coming home.
Coming home.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this personnel action. Any further comments or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Glossary.
Yes.
Item 19 on our agenda this morning is the Marshall County Cost Allocation - Cost Advisory Services Incorporated report. The fiscal year 2020 cost allocation plan will result in a total reimbursement of approximately $36,627 for indirect cost recoveries during the local Department of Human Services office in fiscal year 2022. I'll entertain motions to accept this report.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to accept this report in item number 19.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept this report. Any comments or discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Glossary.
Yes.
Item 20 this morning is the Secondary Roads Fiscal Year 2021 Iowa DOT Budget Amendment. Discussion and possible action on the approval of the amendment fiscal year 2021 Iowa DOT budget for Marshall County Secondary Roads Department. This amendment is to cause our DOT budget to reflect the same changes that were made in the fiscal year 2021 Marshall County budget amendment. Entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve fiscal year 2021 Iowa DOT budget for the Marshall County Secondary Roads Department. This amendment is to cause our DOT budget to reflect the same changes that were made with the fiscal year 2021 Marshall County budget amendment.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay. Paul, is there ever going to be a time when we don't have to double do all these budget amendments and budgets between the state and the county so they match?
Some counties do it twice. I'm just happy I got that.
Okay. It's just more redundancy. All right. We have a motion and a second on this item. Any further discussion?
And I tried to get all the changes that I could get into this budget, but there's one that I just found out about last week that is not reflected in here. It has to do with our paper markings. So I just want to let the board know that I'm going to overrun the paper markings because I'm trying to acquire paint, and I wouldn't normally buy the paint before the end of the fiscal year. But that freeze out thing that happened down in Texas destroyed or shut down the factory that makes emulsion traffic paint. So there's no traffic paint. And so what I was able to do is get on Dave from back in Global on state bid, and I think I have it ordered and we'll be taking delivery of it, but it happened before the fiscal year. But it was either that or the paint was gonna increase by about 60% price. And so I'm overrunning a little bit to keep our line item for paper markings down, prevent us from not being able to paint. But there's a lot of counties that aren't gonna be able to put paper markings down this summer.
Supply chain issues.
Well, it's just, it's the emulsion, and there's only one source, and so they're thinking third or fourth quarter before they're gonna be able to get paint out, before they can get more paint.
Mother Nature wins again. Okay.
Hola, niño.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosik,
Yes.
Item 21 on our agenda this morning is Secondary Roads Fiscal Year 2022 Iowa DOT Budget. Discussion and possible action on the approval of the fiscal year 2022 Iowa DOT budget for the Marshall County Secondary Road Department. Paul, you want to cover this one also?
This is just it's basically a mirror of the budget that you just approved earlier in this meeting that has a few less categories that are kind of blocked into larger groups, but the big numbers are the same.
Okay, entertain motions on this, please.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt FY 2021 Iowa DOT budget for the Marshall County Secondary Road. And this amendment is to cause our DOT budget to reflect the same changes that were made with the FY 2021 Marshall County budget amendment.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this Iowa DOT budget. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosik.
Yes.
Item 22 on our agenda this morning, Secondary Roads, Marshall County, fiscal year 2022, Secondary Roads Construction Program. This is discussion and possible action on the approval of the fiscal year 2022 Secondary Road Construction Program for the Marshall County Secondary Road Department. Paul, you want to get us up to speed on this, please?
This is an outline of our 10 to 5 years on construction for our resurfacing projects, on bridge replacements, and
Bitch, I'm gay, so you know that I am next up. I got dildos, I got lube, what you want?
one struggle that we had.
Same
Thank you.
person, we muted them. It came back on.
We're seeing in some recent lettings that steel is really going up quite a bit. And any bid item that has like steel beams, you're seeing increased prices. So we're trying to. It's hard to guess how long steel will stay up, but it means that we may not be programmed for exactly the right amounts on some of these projects when the we'll see if bid prices go with it. So we're kind of trying to be optimistic and still keep numbers about the same, but a lot of our numbers that are 2 to 3 years out, we're not sure if they're going to be, we're not sure what steel's going to be. So.
Okay. I'll entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022 secondary roads construction program for the Marshall County Secondary Road Department.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the fiscal year 2022 secondary roads construction program for the Marshall County Secondary Road Department. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Clausen.
Yes.
Okay. Item 23 on our agenda this morning is a policy update change for the Marshall County Building Door Access discussion for possible action.
Possible action. And yeah, I just want to really reiterate, this is not a buildings and grounds thing. It's just something, I don't know, there's copies everywhere if people want to see it. I just made a little list of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and this would be kind of a three-headed beast here between James and Nan and myself. It's basically just me initiating it. With the rework of the courthouse, and we're going to have around 65 door access doors just in this building. We've added the engineer's office. We're going to add the annex building. We're adding the fire station building. We already have a system in place at the sheriff's office. We thought it would be good to have a general policy for door access and to maybe define who has judgment over different areas and access to different areas and how we distribute fobs to certain people. So I really wanted to start this with a discussion on how do we set that in place and who is in charge of what what we're looking for. You can see some of the goals here. We have an opportunity to secure our buildings. What I would like to do is start limiting the number of keys we give to people. Essentially, in this building, in the annex building, we can limit keys except for key people. When I say key people, not physically key people, but the people that actually need keys to enter and move around if the power was out or if there was a problem with the system. Essentially, like department heads would have a key to their office. And other than that, you just have a fob. And then your fob access is defined by whatever we figure out here. In the past, we have said if, and I'll generalize on the courthouse here, if it's during working hours, someone's fob will get them into another department. But after working hours, your fob would only get you into your department or in the building. So I just really thought it would be a good time to have a policy in place and just kind of start fresh. I'm trying to do that with a bunch of stuff. I'm working on parking as well. I mean, it's just kind of general housekeeping stuff that we've never had that I think is a good idea to have it.
We've had the key thing from before. It was a very complicated key distribution, and this would really be able to wield it in so that there's just a few people getting the actual physical keys. If we had somebody leave employment, you tell IT, they shut the fob off, access is immediately done. You're not worried about getting keys back. Okay, my employee leaves, they give me the keys. Actually, Jesse Cheezick in my office is keeps that, it's the department head that getting back to Jesse, or, there's a whole process there. This is just a lot cleaner and kind of with new technology. We're back to kind of the way we can handle things with the new technology, makes life a little bit easier, quicker, and more efficient.
Is this going to entail rekeying our locks?
So the courthouse, the annex, and the fire station will have all new locks. So what we're actually doing is starting with a fresh key schedule. And the goal is to limit master keys. Like IT has one master key, it's in their key box. Like my department would have master keys and then limited after that. You know, it's right now there are way too many people with master keys. If you lost one, rekeying an entire building is very expensive.
Because the three of us have master keys.
Yeah. But, you know, in that aspect, is there a need for that?
If you have
I
a
don't
fob
know.
that
I mean,
gets you
that's-
everywhere, you
Yeah,
know,
that's what this discussion is. You know, if you had, say, a key to get into the building, at that point, you know, what do we need to be doing if the power's off? Why do we need to be in the building? Or if the locks aren't working, you know, what does one specific person need to be doing in the building at that point? And I'm not saying it's my decision to make, but it's a discussion to have. Why would we distribute so many master keys if we're at a point where the power's off and there's no, you wouldn't be able to work in that building at that point?
if there's an emergency, you know, how many people should be in the building?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, because there's been more than once that after hours, because I'm so close to everything, that I've been called to let people in
Yeah.
to the building after hours when you've been gone.
Mhm.
But that wouldn't be an issue though, it sounds like.
Not necessarily, no. I mean, there are other options. You know, I have two staff that's in town. It's
We can
just,
also pop the doors remotely now, which was a feature we didn't have before. You can get a hold of Lucas or myself, and we can log in and release the door if somebody was standing out there.
yeah.
If the power's on.
It's
If the
a
power's
very
out, they
rare
still have battery
instance.
backup on the
Oh,
doors
okay.
for quite a while.
Yep.
In most of the key areas, so they'd still be able to get in.
And we have generator power on that as well. So it's very rare that we don't have power to the building where you would actually need a master key.
Like if there was a tornado that flooded out the equipment, for example.
That would never happen
Followed by a derecho.
Right.
during COVID.
That's just crazy talk.
What is
Never
it?
happened.
It won't, no.
You get a 500-year flood every 50 years. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So really, I just wanted to start this discussion. Like I said, it's going to be some input from Nan and James, myself. We'll reach out to security as well on that to kind of really spearhead and say, what's our best case scenario? Can we reach that? And I wanted to broach the discussion to, frankly, it's good that so many people are in the room to, you know, kind of get some input to guide that
Yeah.
policy.
Yeah, we need to probably write a policy, so I don't think there's going to be really any action today. It's going to be more getting thoughts and of what everyone thinks.
Yeah. So at this point, you know, some of our goals are we want to secure the building, limit master keys. At that point, we're going to be able to distribute access to different areas, and that's probably something we would reach out to specific departments on. Okay, what are your access needs? You know, at this point, full access is to IT, my staff, law enforcement, and maybe a few other people, but there aren't a whole lot of people with full access. And that's the kind of questions we need to ask and get answered to. There's limited access to election equipment rooms. And that, you know, that stuff's easy, but if we think about, you know, who has access to the attorney's office after hours? Small amount of people. So we have had what I feel is some excessive fob distribution. I'd like to put in, you know, a limit on how many fobs people can have. We have done some testing on something that's pretty neat. There is a little skinny little fob right here, and it's just about the size of a sheet of paper, maybe 2 sheets of paper, that's in my phone case. That is literally my fob. And who doesn't carry a phone on them? I mean, most people carry their phone with them more than they carry their keys with them. You know, I have 2 different sets of keys for basically the jail facility and the courthouse downtown facilities, and I don't always have those keys on me, but I have my phone on me. Right now, I currently have 3 fobs distributed to me individually. And do I actually need that? No, I can do one. I can put it on my cell phone. It's always there. It's always in my pocket. And that allows us not to have 300 fobs distributed for 150 employees.
See, that was one of my questions that I've always had on myself, because I put my fob in my pocket, and then if I put something else in the same pocket that is magnetic, then I've always worried about ruining my fob from that magnetic.
Not anymore.
Technology has moved to past that,
Technology's moved past that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was an issue years ago.
Yeah, because I didn't get in my motel room one time.
Yes,
because
and
of
that, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anymore, you used to not be able to put a magnet up against your cell phone. You can do it now. I wouldn't recommend it for long periods of time, but we've come a long ways from that.
Okay.
So that's another thing I'd like to pare down on. I just don't see the need as technology has improved to do that. So.
Could the supervisors have access to that?
Yeah, absolutely. We did a limited test run. James and Deb and I each have it, and we've had them for 6 months, probably.
6 months, a year, maybe?
Yeah. It's been a while, and it's really worked well. So
We were worried about the wear and tear on them, being, on a phone
This is
behind it,
good.
very thin. So we didn't want to look at doing something if it was going to just fall apart every 3 months. Cause more problems.
Yeah.
Notice the comment from Kim Elder talking about, the vaccine, where COVID vaccine is located and having that secure.
exactly.
There's another example of, the fobs doing their work and keeping that secure, so.
You'd
So-
like this, wouldn't you, Steve?
I really
Yeah,
would like
okay.
this.
Yeah.
Well, I sure wouldn't mind carrying less keys and a fob in my pocket. I've got
It's-
enough
Yeah, I mean,
now.
everybody does carry your phone. I mean, it's just a
Yeah.
thing.
The hard
Well,
part
Mary.
with this is going to be
Not
if you
always.
don't
I
don't
don't
have
either.
a case on your cell phone, then it's not really a good application.
Yeah, you need
Because
to,
if your cell phone's just blank, and you put, it's literally just a little sticker sheet of paper on there, it's not going to last. So there's going to be some restrictions there, and they are more expensive. They're $6-7 instead of $1.50.
Keys, but a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Do you guys have concerns, inputs on that to start with?
This is so new, I haven't had much of a chance to
yeah, so it's
No.
just some thoughts.
think of
And you guys can
positives or negatives.
think about it, and, we'll put this on a later meeting and kind of discuss. Some people may not, or have a phone, they may not have a case on their phone. The fob would always be an option, an employee could choose which thing they want as well. I don't know that it'd have to be the sticker inside your phone. It could be a fob as well.
Or a
I've-
card, we've got.
The card option.
Credit card size, they're both
Yeah.
CR80s, we've got those as an option as well.
I've got this real high-tech little thing that I
Those
wear
were-
my fob on, it,
Yeah, the cards work well for your wallet. I had one in my wallet for a long time that worked well. Most men actually carry a billfold on.
yeah. Does not work well for women.
The biggest complaint we got from women is I don't carry my keys because I don't carry my purse, and my keys are bulky, I don't have pockets. I don't carry a wallet, so the card didn't do me any
Yeah.
good.
The-
Nan is a perfect example. She
Yeah.
almost immediately got one of those retractor loops.
Yeah, so you got the little,
We do
it's
see her
easy.
carrying her phone all the time.
Our
Primary
Jenny
occasion.
did it.
I know, but if you have too many keys on this, it ruins it. So the
Yeah.
lightness of the fob works really
Works
well
well.
on the retractable. I've had this one. I think this is the second one I've had since I've been here.
Lucas, we kind of started this conversation back before the tornado and
Yes.
started doing some work and changing
Mhm.
things.
Yes.
And so
And then there was a tornado.
then there's a tornado.
Yeah.
But
With a duration with COVID.
Yeah.
We've expanded our systems. We
Yes, you
added
have.
probably 5 doors at the sheriff's office and updated the system. That's the same system we have here. We're adding the same thing in the annex that we never had before. We're adding in the fire station that we never had before. We expanded the engineer's office. So the upgrade to the software and the system that we had really facilitated us to be able to have this conversation.
The other thing for me, for election purposes, and probably Kim mentioning it for vaccine, is being able to track who's going in and out, for me to be able to say, okay, who has went in and out of the election room? That gives me this ability to be able to do that with a fob.
I think that's a good deal.
Mhm.
They do that in the banks. If someone gets into account, they know who.
Right, so it's
When?
just that access.
Yep.
It gives us some good information.
So I would say in the next couple weeks, we'll probably set up a meeting with Joel, myself, Nan, and James, and just kind of come up with a policy to bring to you guys to get on the books.
Okay.
Look, you know, we do have a policy for things that the sheriff's office for
Yes.
distribution, so
Yeah.
we don't want to change that too much.
I'm not, I'd like to stay away from key distribution. Yeah, because.
With the FOBs, with the IT and on the.
Yeah.
So it'd be, we could start too with, since you have a policy, it's always nice to see one in writing and.
Yeah.
And with the, keep that in mind too, with the jail staff, there's areas where they don't have cell phones, that cannot take their cell phones in those areas, so if they navigate throughout.
Your staff-
They're a little bit,
Yeah.
kind of an.
You would do better with one of these probably than the phone
Yeah.
thing.
And that's why, you know, we need that input as well. So, yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Very good.
So you'll probably come up with a master plan then?
Yeah.
To be able to come back to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you think of something between now and then, you know, let us know.
Yeah.
You know, if there's
And-
something about this as you go, hey, what about this or that? You know,
You brought up the fire station a minute ago.
Yeah.
There seems to be some confusion in the public. I've had somebody ask me these last few days. They're under the assumption that we are still leasing that to the county
oh,
and that,
Yeah.
would you two please cover that,
Yes.
what that lease was for, the amount, and that it no longer exists?
the lease we had was for prior to the transfer. So when Dave and Kathy Thompson purchased the entire building, we needed the north section, which is the part that you and Kathy were gifting to the county. But we all know legal things and getting surveys and getting abstracts up to date doesn't happen overnight. It takes some time. And so you have all gifted that, the north section. And when I say north section, it's the 4 doors where the fire trucks were previously parked that you see now that came out towards the east. The part that is further south where there's 2 doors where vehicles can drive in and out, that's to the south, and those doors are to the west. That is the part of the building that Dave and Kathy still own. So that transfer has happened. And, you know, I do hesitate saying the 4 doors that you see because we are going to block in 2 of those doors for the election center part of the building. But that is the portion that the county currently owns now. That transfer has happened.
Yeah.
The rent was $1, and we had costs, of course, for utilities and splitting those utilities so that these 2 can be standalone. And it's very similar to when you look down on Main Street here in Marshalltown, the buildings butt up to each other, but they can be 2 separate, and they were already 2 separate legals. They had 2 separate pins already. So that made it a very easy split.
So we are working on splitting the 2 buildings, demising the 2 buildings. We've already started blocking off there's no entrance from one building into the other now. It's already blocked off, but we have to finish a firewall all the way up. So since the 2 buildings join, they have to be a 3-hour firewall. We have to block in 4 more windows or 5 more windows to actually separate those off. And we just got approval from the city for our remodel building permit to actually finish the rest of the building off. So we will have to split off. We haven't finished yet because we ran into cold weather. We'll split off the water and the sewer and the electrical, and that should be happening in the next 3 weeks. So Now that the frost is out of the ground, I'm meeting with my electrician, my concrete guy, and the plumber probably the middle of next week to get that rocking. So it'll be a big project, but again, it was a great gift to the county. So
Absolutely.
we should be thankful for that.
Yes.
Are they gonna tear up the area in front of those doors? Because we need to get in and out of those constantly because we use it for storage.
It will be, there's a post there in the alley. It'll be from near that post straight, probably more towards where your walk-in door is. So you should still have access on your 2 garage doors.
For the electrical.
Yes.
How about, is there gonna be anything tore up for sewer or water?
The water, the sewer already exists, and that goes out the east side of the building. The goal is to trench one line for electrical and water supply and have them run side by side. It'll just be a bigger trench.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, well, we're obviously on this building and door access not going to take any action.
Is that
So-
something that you guys want a board member to sit in on that building or on that meeting when we do that? When we talk about it, do one of you guys want to sit on that?
I don't know if it's
I
necessary or
don't think
not.
so.
Why couldn't you bring us
I think just
a
come back,
proposal?
once you've, deal with IT, the auditor, recorder, yourself in buildings and grounds, and Joel with security. I'd also maybe recommend talking to the county attorney.
Okay. Yeah.
But other than that,
I think we'll have to reach out to individual departments
Yes.
to kind of get some input on, is there any weird instances where someone would need special access somewhere? Jennifer has a storage room in her area that she may need to limit specific people to, so.
Yeah.
Well, and the county attorney needs 24-hour
Absolutely.
deal,
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily.
Well, the way it's set up now is everyone that works in the building has 24-hour access to the building.
And to their
To their
department.
department, just
Okay.
not other departments.
Okay.
During regular working hours as the auditor recorder, could go into the treasurer's office to drop off checks between 8 and 4:30. If it's outside of that, we wouldn't have access, be able to fob in and out. So that's the nice thing about this for IT, be able to control things.
do we need a motion instructing them to pursue this, or just?
I don't think we
I
need
don't
any
think so,
motion.
no action.
Mm-mm.
I think we're good. Okay, if there's nothing else on this matter, we'll move on. We're good? Okay,
good.
we'll move on to item number 24 on our agenda this morning. This is the county attorney appointment as district judge in the judicial election, District 2B, discussion and possible action to accept the resignation and process for filling the vacancy. First of all, let's publicly congratulate Jennifer Miller on being selected to be a second judicial judge. It's, I couldn't think of anything more appropriate. She will do a fantastic job, eminently qualified. Over the years has been somebody that I have always had a tremendous relationship and always one of the people I went to, and it's going to be very bittersweet to see her go and try and replace those shoes, but it's what we're going to have to do.
Want to let you know that I did receive her resignation on Sunday, March 14th. Please accept this letter as my resignation of my elected office as the Marshall County Attorney. I will begin a new chapter of my legal career as a district court judge on April 2nd. Therefore, my last day of employment with Marshall County will be April 1st of 2021. And I don't think we included her resignation letter in this, so I'm going to read the rest of it. I have immeasurable gratitude to the citizens of Marshall County who have elected me to serve 5 terms as the Marshall County Attorney. It has truly been an honor of a lifetime. The office of county attorney has been both challenging and very rewarding, and I leave knowing that I've always done my best to protect victims, ensure public safety, and uphold the law. In doing so, I have been fortunate to have had the support of an exceptional law enforcement community and supportive coworkers. I want to express my great appreciation to the outstanding staff that I have been honored to work with at the Marshall County Attorney's Office over the past 19 years. The success I have achieved has been due to the hard work of this dedicated team of individuals. I know that they will continue to do great things for the citizens of Marshall County going forward. I wish you and all the elected officials continued success in your leadership of the county in the years ahead. Sincerely, Jennifer Miller, Marshall County Attorney. So that was received 3/14 was the date of her resignation letter.
Nicely written.
And I will say there's a lot of things with dates on all of these items. That's why I keep talking about the dates. We received her resignation. Her last day of work is April 1st. That's a big piece of it too. So at this point, we need to have you accept and determine how you want to fill the vacancy.
Entertain motions on this item?
I would make a motion to, go ahead, Bill.
No, my question was, do we need two motions? One to fulfill it
To
in the
accept it.
process and one to accept the
I would
resignation.
assume so.
We can sure do that, or we can
Or
do
you
it
can
in
them both in
one.
one.
Okay.
It's up
all
to
right,
you all.
Jump at it.
Now you complicated it then.
Well, we did. We wanted to make it hard.
Well, I would make a motion to accept the resignation of Jennifer Miller as of April 1st of 2021. And I guess create a process then for filling that vacancy
By appointment.
by appointment.
Okay.
Is that enough? Is that?
Mhm.
I think
That's
that
good.
covers
As long as we know whether you want to go to special election or by appointment. Those are your two choices.
My,
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay. Would you read the motion back to us so we're crystal clear, please?
Okay, this is what I've got, and I'll make sure I agree with Sherry. Motion by Steve, second by Bill to accept Jennifer Miller's resignation as of 4/1/21 and fill the opening by appointment.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Slosser.
yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 25 this morning is public forum. This is a time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in public forum.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to start this out. I've got something that didn't really fit in our motions and stuff, but there's been a lot of, or there's been some anyway, misunderstanding of the letter that was sent to Sheriff Hoffman asking for a date of resignation, because he said he was going to resign, but he didn't have a date. And normally when that happens, you have a date, and we didn't have one. And there was a letter penned and sent to him. It was signed by our chairman, Dave Thompson, but when you sign a letter that's an official letter, everybody is aware of that, and everyone's approval is to that, and the signature of the chair represents the entire staff of supervisors, and that was the case on this letter also. Beyond that, it was also taken to the auditor recorder, who approved it. It was taken to the county attorney, who approved it, and then it was sent. So when people say that Dave Thompson did this on his own, that's not true. It was done by him because he was our chair and to represent us. And that's just the way business is done. And I just wanted to explain that. There has been some misunderstanding there. I want to get that cleared up. So, thank you for the time.
I do want to add something on the election information. If patrons do want to petition for a special election, because we have two openings, one for the sheriff and one for the attorney, if patrons do want to petition, it is two separate petitions. So it
And
would.
two different dates.
And two different dates. And I played with the dates quite a bit. I will tell you, it is my goal as the auditor recorder and as a Marshall County patron that if we do need a special election for these two positions, is that we try to coordinate the dates so the election is on the same day. This election, we're estimating will cost between $37,000 and $40,000 to the county taxpayers, and I don't think we need to double that. So that is my goal in all this, is to make our dates coincide. Because the resignations are so close together, and you have approved going by appointment, we can get the posting up for Jennifer's position and start that process, get that 10 days going again for our veteran status to make sure that we've got her position posted for the 10 days and, begin accepting applications for that. Again, my goal is to get the timing of the appointment of these two to be the same so that you would fill both of these by appointment, hopefully on the same date or very close to the same date.
Why is the cost so high?
It's county-wide, so you're dealing with workers at all 19 locations. Because we consolidate in Marshalltown, it actually gets down to 15 physical locations, but you start putting 6 to 10 people at each of those, depending if we're at a smaller one or a larger one. Training, programming, ballots, there's a lot, publications. We've never done one of these before if it does go to election, but we're assuming the costs and the number of voters will be similar to a city school election, which is countywide. The ballots, we'd probably be slightly cheaper than that because there would only be one ballot because it'd be the same for everybody. But the paper, we'd have some extras because there's multiple different ballots on the city school. It's a pretty small cost.
And they both would require 1,828 signatures?
They would.
And why that number? Is that a percentage?
10% of who voted in the general election, rounded up to the next nearest number.
I gotcha.
And that's why it's a weird number too.
Fine print.
Yeah, so. But I just, wanted to reiterate that because it's my tax dollars as well, I'd like to consolidate it into one if that is the case. If we do receive a petition for one of the openings and not the other, so for example, if we received a petition for the sheriff but not the attorney, the sheriff would be on the ballot, the attorney would not need to be. They would, Jennifer's position, the attorney's position is going through 2022. They would run for a 4-year term at that time. The sheriff's position would need to also run in 2022 to fill the remainder of a term, which is through 2024. So that would be for 2 years when they ran in 2022. So if anybody's got questions, they want to know, please get in contact with me. And I will share with patrons that my cell phone is the best way to get in touch with me. And email me. I'm happy to talk to anybody. I don't want anybody to be confused because with the law change, it's definitely confusing.
So with Jennifer giving us a date that she is actually going to resign, we will be able to take applications
Now.
for that date?
We can post today. I would not feel comfortable filling the position
Absolutely.
prior
not.
to her leaving, but with the date, we're already on the 16th. And if I count my 10 days, that gets us through the 26th of March. I'd probably say the 28th. So we're, kind of through a weekend there, but we could say through the 26th of March, which is a Friday for Jennifer's position. You can see we're only a week apart.
Well,
We can fill these together, appoint together and go forward that way so that if a petition is received for one or both, I'm trying to keep, if we get a both, that we can have it together.
okay. Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. I was just going to say that. And with the law change and it not being laid out yet.
Well, hopefully everybody's listening, and anybody that is
Has-
thinking about applying for the process does so
Does so.
as soon as they can.
I did speak with the head of the Marshall County Democratic Party yesterday, and we'll be speaking to the head of the Republican Party today, sometime today or this evening, so that both parties are informed. The other thing, if we do go to petition, they also had to have a convention because this is a partisan election. They have to go to convention in a very short period of time following.
That's their issue, not ours.
That is, but it's still all of a timing issue. So, I want to be able to guide them to do it right.
It's unfortunate on this level that we have to run under a banner.
It is really unfortunate. And I have not done any research. If somebody would want to run independent, I'm sure that's an option. I would have to do research. So if somebody wants to do that, normally, if you want to run independent, not a party or the other, you have to get more signatures. So I don't even know what that entails.
Anything else?
I never heard that.
Yes, if you run, when I ran last fall, if I ran under a party, I needed 100 signatures. If I ran independent, it was 250.
Oh, significantly more.
Yeah, it's a bigger number.
How come?
It's the rules. I'm guessing because you don't also have the party. I don't know.
That's just like mom saying, because I said.
Because I said so. I don't know.
Maybe because there's no convention.
There's no convention to have the party. You get the additional backers.
Never even crossed my mind.
That'd be my guess.
That'd be, you've got one less level to go through.
No one's vetting the candidate.
Yeah, so you got more. But when you still think about 250 signatures in a county of 40,000 people, that's still not very many, really. Yeah, but
Okay.
is what it is.
Well, if there's nothing else,
On a different subject,
okay.
it's nice to see the old maintenance building gone. My goodness.
When did they finish that?
It's been gone for
Over a
not
week.
last Thursday, but Thursday before.
How about the new wall going up?
The foundation is in place. I think they just got the permit for the new wall late last week. So when it's not raining or snowing, it's gonna start.
Fantastic, that is gone, because that was
Yeah.
bad.
That was ugly.
That was really bad.
Yeah, and our neighbor will be excited too.
Yes, the Kesters.
Yes.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, we will move on to adjournment. The next regular session is March 30th, 2021 at 9:05 a.m. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the County Auditor Recorder's Office or the Board of Supervisors Office by Wednesday, March 21st, 2021 at 12 p.m. There being no further business to come before the board, this meeting is adjourned
24.
at 10:24.
Okay. Mine won't stay on the.
Thank you.